Emma, and this is a video for you to practice along with at home to energize and wake up for your day. This is a little sequence that I often teach as the warm-up or the first 10 minutes of my basics class. So it's very simple. All you need are 2 blocks and a strap if you have it. If you don't have a strap, you can use a bathrobe tie or a scarf. I'm going to teach, Leslie's going to do the shapes of the poses, and I'll just point out a few things to keep in mind as we go. Leslie, you can come up to standing. And if you're at home, come up to standing. And just bring your hands up into the air and give your wrists a little circle. We're just going to circle all the joints just to kind of interact with the general shape of the body. You can bring your fingertips to your shoulders, stir your elbows. You can make them as small or as large as you like. If you want to pretend you're a cartoon character waking up from a long winter's nap, you can kind of exaggerate and even do a big, stretchy reach with your arms and a fake or a real yawn. Good. You can take your feet a little wider than your hips and start to draw a circle around and around with your hips, almost like you're hula hooping in slow motion. If you need to bend your knees, if that would feel better, definitely do so. Bring your feet closer towards one another, bend your knees a touch, and start to move your knees in a bit of a circle, or it might be more like an oval. For the first few, you can try to keep the soles of your feet down, so not lifting up on the edges, and then switch to the other direction. This time, if you want to try a few where your feet lift up on the edges, you can try that. Good. And then stand back up and reach your arms up into the air. Catch your right wrist with your left hand, lengthen up towards the ceiling, and then bend over to the left. You can press your hips in the opposite direction and put a little bit more weight in your right foot. As you inhale, come back up to center, switch your grip, and bend over to the other side. Do one more in either direction at your own pace. And notice how you're breathing. I'm going to invite you to breathe in and out through your nose, if possible. And the next time you come back up to center, just let your arms flop down beside you, maybe let them swing a bit. And then sit up your feet approximately parallel with your toes pointing forward. Bend into your knees, sit your hips back, and reach your arms forward. We're going to do a little rocking chair, waking up the hips, waking up the toes. Press into the fronts of your feet, lift your heels up away from the floor. And then put your heels back down, lift the fronts of your feet up. Good. So you're kind of rocking back and forth on your heels. Sometimes I like to reach my arms in the opposite direction that's lifting, so that I have a bit of a counterbalance to keep my balance. Good. Do a couple more back and forth. It can be a little tippy. Great, and then come on back up to standing. Give your knees a little shake, almost like you're trying to run a race, but your feet are stuck to the floor. And then bend into your knees and bounce up and down, like your pelvis is a bouncy ball and it's just going, 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 going. See if you can let your chin even bobble a little bit. Awesome. If you have blocks, grab them and place them at their highest height at the front of your mat and stand between them. So your ankle bones are between your blocks approximately. Later on, you can choose if you want to move your blocks to a lower level or move them away and touch the floor. Press down into your feet, lengthen through your sides, and inhale to reach your arms up. As you exhale, bring your palms to touch, hinge at your hips, and lower all the way down. You can touch your shins or your blocks. On an inhale, come halfway up, reach the top of your head forward. And as you exhale, fold back down, touch your hands to your blocks, and step your right foot back into a lunge. From here, straighten your front leg and flip your front toes up. Bend your back knee and dip it down towards the floor. Good, and then just go back and forth, coming into a regular lunge. And then moving into, I can call this a reverse lunge sometimes. Leslie, move your blocks back a little bit because it's going to be more supportive for her, so you can figure out where you want your blocks to be, maybe right under your shoulders, or you can take them with you forward and back. And then bend into your front knee, have your back leg straight-ish. Press back through your back heel, and reach forward through the top of your head. Take a moment to notice your breathing. Notice how this lunge feels first thing in the morning, or at another time of day if you're practicing a different time, being a rebel. And step your right foot forward between your blocks. Step your other leg back And try the same thing. Straighten your front leg, flip your front toes up, walk your blocks back, bend your back knee down a little bit. Move back and forth a few more times. If it feels like a lot for your back toes to bend the knee a lot, it's too much of a hinge, you can keep the back leg more straight and just move the front leg straight and bend. Good. Bend into your front knee. Walk your blocks forward until they're over your shoulders. And bring a little bit more intentionality and engagement to your legs. So tone the muscles of your legs. Pull your feet towards one another. And then keeping that, reach back through your left heel, forward through the top of your head. Imagine you're making your spine a little bit longer. Take another breath here. And step your back foot forward. Fold down towards your feet. And then push down strongly into your feet. Stand up, reach your arms wide and high. Let your arms come back down. And if it would feel nice, do a little knee bounce, a little leg shake. Let's do one more lunge. When your next inhale comes, reach up towards the ceiling, stretch through your sides. Join your hands, exhale, hinge at your hips, and fold down towards your legs. On an inhale, come halfway up, lengthen your spine. Fold down towards your feet, touch your blocks, and step your left foot back into a lunge. Good. Keep your left hand on your left block, and then lift your right hand up, reach it up towards the ceiling, turn your chest towards the right. You can either keep your top arms still, or you can draw a big circle in the air, any way you like. You can reverse the direction. Just pay attention to how your shoulder movement feels. And touch your hand back down to the block, switch your feet, step your back foot forward, your right foot back. Keep your right hand down, turn your chest to the left, reach up with your left arm. Good. And then maybe draw a few circles one way, and then the other. Good. Bring your top hand down to the block, drop your back knee down, and then swing your front leg back to meet your back leg. Move your blocks off of your mat. And then touch your hands down, come into an all fours position or table pose. From here, lift your tail, look a bit forward, let your belly move down towards the floor. And then round your back, look towards your knees, lift up through your middle. Go back and forth a couple more times. This is called cat and cow. The slope back is cow, and the rounded back is like a Halloween cat. You can see Leslie shaking her head a little bit. And if you want, you can wiggle your shoulders or wiggle your hips. It doesn't have to be a super specific movement, more just giving your spine an opportunity to wiggle around in this shape. Good. Sit back onto your heels or come to a high kneeling position if that's better for your feet. Bring your hands up into the air. We'll warm the wrists up a little bit and then do some downward facing dog. Curl your fingers in like you're cinnamon rolling your hands. Wrap your thumbs across your fingers. And then curl your wrists down. Show the fronts of your knuckles to the front of the room. Good. Unwrap your fingers or reach your fingers all the way back. Try to pull your fingernails in the direction of your biceps. And let's do that 2 more times. Cinnamon roll your fingers in, wrap your thumb across, curl, and show your knuckle tattoos forward. Unwrap, reach all the way back, pull back. 2 more, curl and wrap. See if you can even pulse your thumbs towards your inner forearms a couple times. And then unwrap, reach all the way back. Spread your fingers as wide as you can. Last one, curl, wrap, this time squeeze. And then unwrap, reach back, pull your fingernails back. And give your hands a little bit of a shake. Good. Come to an all fours position. Have your hands a little wider than your shoulders. Press into your fingerprints. Walk your knees back a couple of inches. Curl your toes under and try a downward facing dog. From here, you might shrug and unshrug your shoulders if that feels doable and interesting. And then either with your knees lifted or with your knees lowered, come forward so your shoulders are over your wrists, coming into a plank pose. And then come back with your hips back. So Leslie's going to show first with the knees up. Just one time. And then she'll drop the knees and show what it looks like I'm doing this with the knees down. Call it kneeling plank to puppy pose. Do that a couple more times. If you want to let your spine wave you a little bit back and forth, bringing an echo of the cat-cow movement in, you can. If you want to keep your spine more still, you can make this more about just the hinge of your shoulders and hips. Good. Come back into a table pose, lower down into your elbows. Let's give the wrists a little bit of a break. Interlace your fingers and have your elbows underneath your shoulders approximately. Curl your toes under, lift your knees up. And then lift your hips up and back. Come into a forearm dog. Good. Again, if it's possible or doable, you want to try shrugging and unshrugging your shoulders. You can try that. It feels a little bit like you're a turtle and you're reaching out to see the world and then squeezing back in. And if you want to give your toes and your legs a little bit more to do, bend your knees. See if you can bingo dab your knees down towards the mat and then lift them back up. Maybe you don't go all the way down, but maybe you do. Try a couple more at your own pace. Good. Bring your knees down to the mat. Come back up to hands and knees. And then make your way up to standing, whatever's the most comfortable way for you. Let's just end with one standing balancing pose, just to kind of bring yourself to center for your day. Good. Lean onto your left foot, pick up your right leg, turn your right knee out to the side, and then place your right foot on the inside edge of your leg. You might choose to go up high, near your inner thigh, or lower down to your calf. Your hands might be in front of your chest, or if you're feeling triumphant or you want to take up a little bit more space this morning, you might reach your arms up or out to the sides. Tone your outer left hip, squeeze it in towards center. From your hips, see if you can push more down into your foot, lift up through your head. Take another opportunity to notice your breathing. And then slowly release your arms down, release your foot down. And if it feels good, do a little leg jiggling or bouncing. Last one, lean onto your right foot, pick your left leg up, turn your left knee out to the side, pick a place on the inside edge of your standing leg to rest your foot. Let your arms choose whatever position they like. And then take 3 cycles of breath, just to notice how you are, to be with yourself and your body this morning. Maybe tippy. Release your foot down, give everything a little bit of a shake. And then for the last minute or so, you can choose to either sit down, lean back on a wall, or lie down on the floor. If you're feeling really sleepy, you might choose to sit so that you don't end up going to sleep for another 20 minutes. Back sit. And Leslie's sitting up on her blocks. For lots of people, this can make sitting on the floor much more comfortable and doable for the hips, knees, and ankles. I'm going to be quiet for a minute so you can just be with yourself. If you want to stay longer here, or you can stay for as long as you like. If you're done your practice, you can get up and go. I hope you have a lovely morning, and I hope this video helps you energize your day.